Hello, this is Miss Poor, and this recording is going to discuss measuring length, part 1. And just to give you a warning, the big idea here is measurement is the process of using a unit to determine how much of something you have. In the objectives of this lesson, we're going to find out that you will be able to define and measure line segments on a number line, and you will be able to perform basic constructions with a straight edge and a compass, which you received in your supplies from K-12. The new terms that we're going to have in this lesson is number line. That's a line for which every point corresponds to a real number, and every real number corresponds to a point. We're also going to have a coordinate. That's a number on a number line or axis, giving the location of a point. And one thing that you're going to have to remember is that distance, otherwise we'll be discussing them as measurements, are always positive. Measuring length. Examples are, how many miles is it from your home to your favorite vacation place? How long will it take you to get there? How much spending money are you going to need? How many hours will you need to work to earn enough spending money for the trip? When you measure something, you find its size, amount, capacity, or quantity. In everyday life, measurements are often made with rulers and given in inches or centimeters. In geometry, the number line can be considered a ruler as well. Measuring segments. Here's a number line. It's like a ruler because it has equally spaced intervals that are labeled with numbers. It contains equal intervals and numbers to the left or below 0, which are negative numbers. The numbers are called coordinates. A coordinate gives the location of a point. You can use a number line to measure line segments. The length of a line segment is the distance between its points. So to find segment EF, you subtract the coordinate of point E from the coordinate of point F. Then you calculate its absolute value. And remember that distance measurements are always positive. So let's look here. Let me get my pen, if I can find it. So if I'm going to subtract the coordinate of point E from F, so I'm going to say F minus E, and remember I'm going to be getting its absolute value. The coordinate of F is 5 minus the coordinate of E, which is 1. 5 minus 1 equals 4, and the absolute value of 4 is 4. So the measure of EF equals 4 units. This example says use the number line, and they ask us to give the coordinate for each point on the number line. So if I look at point at A, they want me to find the coordinates of point B. Right there is B. If I look, Q is 5, so I can go 5, 6, 7, 8. That's going to be 1, 2, 3 units. But all they want to know is what the coordinate is, and it's going to be 8. So I started at point Q, and then I said, okay, point Q is 5, so there's 6, 7, 8. There we go. Then it asked me, what is the coordinate of point T? Well, T is easy. We don't have to do any counting. They gave that one to us. Then they asked us for the coordinates of V. So I look here, F is 0, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So that means V's coordinate is going to be 3. In this example, they ask us to name the point that is given at the coordinate. So, I don't know if I had my pen on or if I just turned it off. There we go. So I look for 0 on the number line, and right there is 0. Well, the name of coordinate 0 is F. So there's its name. Now it asks me, what is -1? Well, -1 is going to go to the left of 0, and it's right here. And that coordinate's name is Y. And then the next one it asked me for is the number 3. So I'm going to start at 0, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And 3's name is V. Okay. In this example, they ask us to find the distance between the pairs of points. I can do this one of two ways. I can count the number of units between the points, or I can use a formula which is subtracting the coordinates and stating its absolute value. Remember that distance is always positive. So in part A, they want us to find the distance from F to B. Now, I'm going to do this one way, and then I'm going to do it the second way. I can count units. Okay, I know that F is 0, so I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I know that B is 8. Oh, it wanted V, not B. Let me go back. You got to read your question properly so you can give it the right answer. Alright, let's do this again. From F to V. So F is 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be 3 units. Now, if you wanted to do it the other way, I could, and this one you don't want to probably do this way because it's a lot harder than just counting units. So I'm going to get the absolute value of those coordinates. So F is 0, V is 3, 0 minus 3 gives me -3, and then the absolute value is 3. So see, either way you do it, you're going to get the same answer of 3 units. Now let's look. Here's Y and here's B. Well, those guys are a little bit further apart, so it might be easier to do the calculation. I'm going to change my ink color here. So here I'd be going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I hope I counted that right. Okay, now if I use the formula, I'm going to have Y minus B. Y, notice Y is a -1. So -1 minus the B coordinate. So here's 10, this is going to be 9, that's going to be 8. So I'm going to say -1 minus 8. -1 minus 8 is going to give me a -9. The absolute value of -9 is going to be 9. So it's 9 units. Okay, my next one here, let me change my ink color. I'm going to use green this time. They're wanting me to go from G to Q. Well, that's quite a bit a distance. I know that G is -19, and I know Q is 5. So I'm just going to use the formula. I'm not going to count all those units. So I'm going to say G minus Q. The coordinates of G are 5. The coordinates of Q are -19. Notice that I have a minus sign and a negative sign, and whenever you've got those two guys together, it's going to make it positive. So let me change that. So 19 plus 5 is going to give me 24, and the absolute value of 24 is 24. So from G to Q is going to be 24 units. And I apologize, I think I wrote that down wrong. That should have been -19 minus 5. But it still works out the same way since we're finding the absolute value. Let me cross those out. See, it still works. Okay, this next one says, draw and label a number line and graph points E, F, and G so that EF equals 3, FG equals 8, and EG equals 11. Well, I know that from E to G is 11. I looked for the biggest number. That's going to be 11. And then I know from E to F is 3 and from F to G is H. So I'm going to put F about right here. And I know that's 3 units. And I know that's 8 units. So we got to think of the segment addition postulate, which we haven't covered yet, but it works. All you have to do is look at this and say 3 plus 8 equals 11. Therefore, EF plus FG will equal EG. And that's all you have to do. Okay, to summarize this, a measurement is the process of repeating a unit over a quantity. If you are measuring a line segment, subtract the coordinates of the endpoints and then take the absolute value of the result. And remember, distance is always positive. Just want to thank you for listening to this lesson on measuring length, part 1, and don't forget to contact me if you have any challenges with learning the concepts in this lesson.